Hello everyone and welcome back to the WebNav podcast episode 2. Welcome. Obviously we got me here and we got Spinling. How you doing, Spinling?
Ooh, thank you for having me on.
That was a great introduction from your end. I love that on my end that just completely blew out. I was like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, it just cut off. I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's awesome, dude. I love that.
Today I thought we had a couple of ideas for what we're doing for episode 2, but I thought we'd kind of return with an episode less about internet drama, more about interesting stuff from the internet, because we cover internet drama all the time. I talk about it with you, you talk about it on you talk about it on your channel and stuff. We do videos about it.
Yeah, but we just don't shut up about it.
But yeah, that's not exactly WebNav's whole thing, and I wanted to talk about a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't usually get to discuss on the main channel, and one of those stuff is more stuff like internet, I guess stories from the internet. I don't want to be like some Nexpo type,
internet,
but
not even mysteries. I wouldn't even say, just
strange things that happen.
Just like internet lore, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's
general internet stories. You know, we're not doing that like Night Mind fucking Petscop shit. You know.
I guess you could say we're net loring this place up.
We're kind of navigating the web, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. With that. So I thought we'd start with some stuff that's more about like interesting stuff from the internet, and I wanted to start with like a topic that's kind of more concurrent, which is space. Now, space, obviously, I don't need to introduce it as a kind of like topic, but it's an interesting place for the human mind because it's basically, I mean, not to get philosophical, is that how I said it?
Philosophical.
Philosophical, that's it. Not to get philosophical, but in this space is an interesting thing because obviously Earth is the only habitable planet, the only one with, actually living things that actually walk across the fucking Earth. You don't know if there's not really any other habitable planets out there, any planets that have had like life. That's why we're so obsessed with the idea of the unknown, and that's why we're obsessed with the idea of the aliens. Even online, that will get like a bunch of attraction. And I mean, like people like science channels is like people love getting trivia on the internet.
I mean, the whole idea of communications technology. I mean, not even talking about space, but talking about talking about space, but like governments, science, and it's all tangentially related to each other by one mean or another. And back in the day, with stuff that we're talking about, the internet was used by primarily these people who had like no other place to talk about it.
Nerds, you could say. You could call them nerds.
Fucking loser, degenerate pieces of shit. Yeah.
That's a bit much. But yeah, and absolutely. I mean, the internet was founded by nerds, and a lot of these people were early on. You'll hear today people like, all the normies came in. And I heard that a bunch during 2016, 2017. It's a really loser thing to say. But I mean, it's kind of like a reflection to how the internet wasn't. It's weird because I think if you were born if you're 13 years old now watching the internet, you will not believe there was a time where the internet was not a popular thing for everyone and people didn't really use it all the time and people weren't as into it.
As kids, not even commentary, we came in at the head start of the boom of internet shit coming in, with YouTube and Facebook blowing up and Instagram, Twitter, all this shit. People always say if the internet hadn't had such a weird cultish obsession, it wouldn't have gotten it popular. But I don't think that's true. I think the natural progression of technology led us to us all making something like that. I think that's just the natural progression, is because if you really think about it, again, so philosophical, the natural progression for humans and especially technology was to come closer. That's all what it was for. Right? And the internet was made for communications. It was made for information. It wasn't made for, Guna hentai. It was made for
it was probably used. There's a great Russell Howard quote where he talks about his brother talking about the internet. He says there's only two uses for the internet: quizzing and jizzing. I think that's a fantastic quote. I think it's an amazing quote because it sums up the entire internet just in that. There are a lot of early kind of internet porn sites, and that was one of the things it was used for.
Like
wow, well you can. Yeah, I guess they were really beating after that shit.
Yeah.
But I guess
pixels and lines, dude.
getting back onto the topic of more, I wanted to talk about some kind of internet space hoaxes. You don't really get hoaxes nowadays because I think the age of the internet is at a point where it's like information can be like verified pretty easily, and like this information is just as easily as common to come across. But like back then, it was like these are like emails that have been sent around, and sometimes they're used for fucking spreading insane viruses across people because people were just so much lax between getting emails and just opening them and reading it. There was not that sense of internet security which we have now, and obviously idea of like social awareness and what exactly is true, what exactly to trust.
And I mean,
so it is weird.
Who did like? Sorry to cut you off, but the people who did know that sort of basic knowledge that kids know now, like VPNs, or I don't even think a VPN was around like when the internet first was like a thing.
Oh, absolutely not. No,
like you had to like reroute your fucking phone with the modems, and all sorts of like really interesting ways of like getting to the internet. You had to code your way in. Essentially, you had to type a bunch of bullshit out just to connect to people on forums and like bulletin boards that had maybe like 5 people on them. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. But all that has led up to the progression now.
I think that's where a lot of conspiracy comes in, because back in the day, if you like, it's literally the meme of like, if you were to talk about the stuff you like now, there's like a whole subculture for it, right? If you were to do that, there's that
4chan post. There's a 4chan post where it's like, before the internet, want to fuck a toaster. Someone tells you, shut up, that's not normal. But then like, then you like go on the internet, there's an entire culture of people who like to fuck toasters, and it's like, well, yes, let's go. Yeah. So you basically get like kind of validated in this own kind of circle. It's a weird thing, It's a weird thing. But I thought I'd arrange some hoaxes to look over, some internet hoaxes related to space, which was posted online because obviously science. And I thought I'd come with one that is. I'd start off with one that is kind of like a bit like the Russell Howard quote earlier. It's like quizzing and jizzing, because there is a really early one from around late 1989 that was posted to the internet. It's called Document 1257135570, which is a mouthful to remember. Basically, what this was is that it was like a hoax document about like NASA, and it was posted to a news group on. It was a site on Usenet, which is like an old ass online web service. It kind of looks like, if you look at it kind of looks like it's really fucking old. It kind of looks like CFAX, which is like one of the if you're not from the UK, that was like an old news kind of thing they put on the BBC on TVs, and old people would read it all the time. It was literally the most rudimentary, basic old PC shit. But this document was posted in late 1989. This might be the first internet hoax ever. And they posted it on a chat site called alt.sex, which is a great fucking domain. Literally. I mean, yeah. But what was it? You gotta ask what this document was about, and it was about the possibility of sex in space, which positions are most effective, what things to use, and like apparently like notes from 10 1-hour sessions that they were having it. Now I have the whole document here that's archived, and it's really in depth and well crafted for a hoax. But I have it right here, and I can read out some of this if you'd like me to. Awesome. Let's see. Experiment 8 post-flight summary, NASA publication 14/307/1792. Abstract. The purpose of this experiment was to prepare for the expected participation in long-term space-based research by husband-wife teams once the US space station is in place. To this end, the investigators explored a number of possible approaches to continued marital relations in the zero-G orbital environment provided by the XXXX shuttle mission, which is anonymous. They're not being XXXS and fucking sex. I gotta clear that up. A lot of stuff happening.
A lot of sex is going on right there.
Our primary conclusion is that satisfactory marital relations are within the realm of possibility in zero-G, but that many couples would have difficulty getting used to the approaches we found to be most satisfactory. I just love the idea that, like, you gotta ask, like, how did someone think of this and was like, sex in space, that's what I kind of need, because I think 1989, I don't know, obviously, you gotta think, like, culture back then, obviously stuff about space was popular. You know, you had
really
like
big.
you had like Star Wars had obviously
and
been out
stuff.
by this point for ages. So people and obviously people like the idea of that, but like for NASA to be approaching and be like, what do we really think about it? It's kind of funny. I don't know. And the fact that it's like specifically on like marital relations and not like anything else, and it's like, well, you can't have affairs in space. You can't bring your girlfriend up there. I don't know. I don't know. It's a funny concept. Let me keep going.
Idea, and before you read on, it's like, it's kind of true that like pop culture and stuff like will affect or like influence the way the real world progresses, if you know what I mean. Like, because they didn't just do this because it was like actually interesting. They did this because someone probably watched Star Wars and they were like, how do they fuck there? And they saw that on like a funny like poster or something.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like a Doctor Screw. You know what Doctor Screw is?
Nah.
It's like a Doctor Who porn parody. There are a lot of
awesome.
There are a lot of those. Yeah, it's actually like a series you can watch. I don't know who made it, but there's a lot of those. There's one on like the this is my Doctor Who nerd kicking in because I one of the reasons I selected this is because I kind of like Doctor Who. There was like so there's like going off on a massive tangent here. But after the BBC cancelled Doctor Who in like 1989, they put it on like hiatus for a bit. There was a company called BBV, which was ran by some other ran by some fucking guy, and they would make like film. I was like, yes, I don't know. I don't think it was like British Broadcasting, but it was like obviously meant to be similar to those, but it wasn't in like in the way that you would imagine. They basically just stole the thing, but obviously officially it's not the same. And what they'd do is they wouldn't have the license for Doctor Who, but they would use like actors from the show, and basically like use like little names and put them in. They'd get licenses for actual monsters that were in the show, and they made like a Zygon porn parody, which is Zygons are like shape-shifting aliens. Yeah, it's called like Zygon when being you isn't enough, something like that.
Is this the shit
it's really
you
crazy. No, this is not. What would make you think that? It's really funny because the estate of the guy who made the Zygons doesn't let the episode he wrote be shown on BBC iPlayer, but he'll allow this. This is like he'll allow the Zygon porn parody. That's awesome.
That's like peak Doctor Who for anyone who's never watched it.
Yeah, you should go to that one first.
Yeah. It is very lore accurate.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Preliminary studies in the short-term weightless environment provided by aircraft flying on ballistic trajectories were sufficient to demonstrate that there were problems, but the duration of the zero-G environment on such flights is too short to reach any satisfactory conclusions. Wait, the duration of the zero-G environment on such... I guess they didn't have enough time?
They were on zero-G.
Yeah, that's what
and their face is like melting and she's trying to like put it in.
Oh my god. Similar experiments undertaken in a neutral buoyancy tank were equally inconclusive because of the awkwardness of the breathing equipment. So they put them underwater as well, I guess, in like a tank.
Oh
that's
my
nuts.
God. That is
the primary conclusion that could be
movie scenes though in like a.
You gotta again. It's like this is made up, so it's like the creativity of someone to make this together is like admired. The fact they're putting it together like this is nuts. The primary conclusion
believable is the funniest part.
Yeah, exactly.
So like some like old man who like knows what the internet is, he's like,
what
the hell?
They're doing this is what my fucking tax dollars are going to.
They got space pussy now.
The primary conclusion that could be drawn from these early experiments was that the conventional approach in marital relationships, sometimes described as the missionary approach, is highly dependent on gravity to keep the partners together. This observation led us to propose the set of tests known as STS-5 Experiment 8.
Oh
Dude.
My God.
The co-investigators had exclusive use of the lower deck of the shuttle for 10 intervals of 1 hour each during the orbital portion of the flight. They were doing 10 1-hour flights or something. Maybe like
just
like going up and down. I shouldn't say that in this kind of context. Yeah. We're going up from the airport and landing at the airport, going down to Earth.
Yeah. Oh, were they doing like the ones where like you can kind of get the test of what like space is like by like flying the airplane really up and then like?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All the way down, and they were trying to like make.
Oh well, I don't know if they were like I don't know if they were trying to like fucking like in this scenario. I don't think they would be trying to like nosedive just to get like the the G's up or make the zero G's. I don't really know
Yeah.
how this would work. The more you look into this, you start to realize it's not really that scientifically put together.
No, it's almost like it's not real. or
Shocking.
something.
Yeah. A resting period of a minimum of 4 hours included in the schedule between intervals. Wait, minimum of 4 hours? Don't they have, like... Okay, this is my question. They have, like... Do they have to have, like, the same 2 people doing it
That's
every
what I
time in
was
this scenario?
thinking. Because, like, you'd
Wouldn't it be
run
different?
out,
I feel like...
right?
I get, yeah, like, you'd be... But I feel like you'd be, like... You'd have to, like, have, like, at least, like, another couple there.
You'd have to
don't
have, like,
know
a
what
smoke
form in a
break
4
every
hour.
now and then, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
This
During
guy
each
who made
interval-
this isn't good at thinking about this shit at all.
He did not plan this ahead.
He did not
During
plan
each
ahead.
interval, the investigators erected a pneumatic sound dead. That was on purpose. During each
Yeah,
interval, the
absolutely.
investigators erected a pneumatic sound deadening barrier. So, hang on. What are they saying here? The investigators erected a pneumatic sound deadening barrier between the lower deck and the flight deck and carried out one run of the experiment. I guess. Well, there's no. They wouldn't be having sex in the control room.
Fucking.
Yeah, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't be having it in the control room. To be fair, that's a good
absolutely,
point.
But, like, the people in the control room, they don't want to hear
Just
that.
like
Or maybe unless they've
I
got, like,
guess
a
true.
cook there who's like, oh,
Well, that seems like a lot to add for a spaceship that's gonna go up, or like a
yeah.
rocket. Rockets need like wait. They need like as little as you can so they can take off and go around the place.
Go
Go around the gaff.
Something little taken off.
Okay. Each experimental run is planned in advance to test one approach to the problem. We made extensive use of a number of published sources in our efforts to find
Jesus
satisfactory conclusions. See Appendix 1, arriving at an initial list of 20 reasonable solutions. Of these, we used computer simulation, using the computer
They
simulation.
got, like, the CGI, like, Matrix.
Yeah. Of these, we use computer simulation using the mechanical dynamic simulation package from the CAD-C company. I think you use those for your edits, don't you? CAD-C company?
Yeah.
Yeah, you use the mechanical dynamic simulation package all the time.
I use the science pussy fucking technology.
Yeah.
That shit goes
Six
hard.
solutions utilize mechanical restraints to simulate the effect of gravity, whilst the others utilize the efforts of the experimenters to... Wait, the others utilize only the efforts of the experimenters to solve the problem. Oh, okay, I get it. Mechanical and unassisted runs were alternated, and each experimental run was videotaped for later analysis.
We need to find this.
We need to, like, look at this, dude.
Wait,
Dude, we need...
SpaceX is lost media?
Dude, somewhere in some fucking basement.
Yeah, some old man's house.
Some private collector is holding on to gold right now. That's what's happening.
Release that shit.
Yeah, let that shit go out. Come on. Immediately after each run, the experimenters separately recorded their observations and then jointly reviewed the videotapes and recorded joint observations. The sensitive natures of the videotapes and first-time observations precludes a public release of the raw data. Okay, there's no way this person writing this didn't include this raw data. Yeah,
Raw
really?
data.
The investigators have
This guy knows how
prepared
to
this.
fucking make a joke. This guy's
That's
funny.
true. Yeah, you got like the joke. You got like the ultimate joke book.
Yeah, the fucking Joe Rogan of our time was making fucking
Unknown
sex
guy on
conspiracy.
alt.sex. Yeah, literally.
He
The
knew.
investigators have prepared this paper to summarize their results, and they intend to release a training videotape for internal NASA use. Dude, sign me up right now.
Yeah, wait, how can I be a part of this? I don't even need
Dude,
to
how
get
do I?
paid.
Yeah, how do I even get it? How do I get into this, please?
At NASA, hit me up.
Do you remember that Twitter exchange where it's like that? I think that's got Furry was like, I got hired at NASA, and
Yeah.
it's like suck my dick and balls at NASA, and like one of the interns was like, hey, that's don't language miss, and she's like, fuck you, I'm fucking working in
Yeah,
NASA, and the guy's like, I'm actually the head at NASA, and she got fired,
Yeah.
which is rough. What were you gonna say?
I was literally gonna talk about that being like it was I think there's a whole story about that, you know. It's not like one of those like Twitter memes that weren't real. Like it actually happened.
No, that was an actual thing that happened.
Yeah. But I feel like if you were to look at that, you'd be like, oh, that was like one of those like r/funny like YouTube video kind of like tweets that aren't actually that real.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got fired for talking shit.
She actually lost her job, which is nuts. Which is kind of rough, you know. No, you shouldn't say that for saying I suck my dick and balls. I work at NASA
Deserved. Now. You don't get to do the sex pussy machine on the NASA space shuttle.
Okay, yeah. Constructed from selected segments of the videotapes and additional narrative material. What, narrative material? Wait, what? Constructed from selected segments of the videotapes and additional narrative material. Okay, we need to see... This is literally the porn plot in 1989. Yeah. They're writing about the porn plot. That's nuts. Now I have a... Now I have a list of summary of results, which is they tested all the sex positions. He went in depth with this. I'm showing like an abbreviated version. This is not the entire thing. I had to cut this down, but I can read out some of the. I can read out some of the. At some point, it becomes kind of sus when you are writing about all this. At some point, it's like, why have you spent this time? This is definitely someone's fetish, and they've wrote it down here, and it's become like a thing.
Or it's like one of those like teenagers who like really wanted to fuck with people, because it's only like old men or like teens back in like the 90s or 80s who would know what any of that is. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it has to be like an old man who's like secretly like loves this, or like, and it's like fan fiction. He wanted to release it publicly, or like it's like some like kid who wanted to fuck with like these old ass like retards on r/sex.
Yeah, I was like, hey, look at this dude.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dude, r/sex is funny. Is that an actual thing? I'm gonna look that up.
r/sex.
That has to be something.
A picture of r/sex on the screen.
Oh my god, it's real.
Is it?
2.7 million members.
Holy shit!
This is awesome, dude. I need to join this right now.
Now.
Are you like 100,000 people now?
I am equivalent to that with my karma, yes.
This is horrific. How are you gonna get this? How are you gonna get this episode not age restricted?
Funny memes.
I guess. Don't. All right, if you're a kid, cover your ears, which is probably like a warning too late, but
Do not go on r/sex. You will regret it.
I thought such an absurd idea wouldn't exist, and yet it's here.
It's Reddit.
All right, let's see. See what we got here. Summary of results. 1. An elastic belt around the waist of the two partners. The partners face each other in the standard or missionary posture. And the posture. Entry was difficult, and once it was achieved, it was difficult to maintain. Dude, entry was difficult.
Dude, saying it like it's like repairing like a vital organ.
No, it's like literally like a spaceship taking off.
Yeah.
Like it's entry into the fucking space atmosphere.
Yeah, it's like we have liftoff. Oh.
I want to believe this is like an actual NASA scientist just writing this down as a shit post.
Is this true?
At NASA, is this true? Yeah. With the belt worn around the hips, entry was easy, but it was difficult to obtain the necessary thrusting motion. As a result, this approach was not satisfactory. Oh my god. I almost don't want to read all of this, because it's just like, it's just describing it. It's just describing
sex positions in space.
An interesting experiment, but ultimately unsatisfactory, because the difficult to obtain the necessary thrusting motion. Of all the approaches tried with an elastic belt, this is by far the most satisfactory. Oh, hang on, I got this. One problem both partners noticed with all 3 elastic belt solutions was that they reminded the partners of practices are sometimes associated with bondage, a subject that neither found particularly appealing. For couples who enjoy such associations, however, and those who routinely enjoy female superior relations, this solution should be recommended.
The dummy mommy sex position, dude. It's fucked up.
Dude, they just had to write that in and be like, yeah, just in case, the elastic belt, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
I don't want to read the rest. Okay, I got one more segment, and then we'll move on from this document.
Find the best one of the sex moves, and then we'll move on.
I have this note here. Hold on. A general disadvantage of the inflatable tunnel approach was that the tunnel itself tended to get sticky with sweat and other discharges. We're reading smut at this point. We are kind of reading this smut at this point.
This is fan fiction. Like, you can't...
This is
so insane that, like, we've got, like, hindsight from, like, the shit that we cover of people who would probably be into shit like this. Is, like... It's literally, like... how did like fat old like retards on the internet like think this was like facts?
Dude, it was awesome.
This is like if you
leaked documents.
This is like if Cars, like the first Cars came out, and then you sent them like Cars Wattpad smart fan fiction and said, "This is the leak."
This is Cars 2.
This is Cars 2.
Look at my leaks, dude. This is Cars 2. Yeah. What else is there? We feel the difficulty of keeping a tunnel clean in zero G makes these solutions most unsatisfactory.
Oh.
Well, obviously. This document was fake. I mean, the mission they said it happened on was STS-75. Yeah, shockingly, this is actually a fake thing that happened.
They trolled us.
I'm after. You got owned. You literally got owned. So, I mean, even if you look, even apart from the material inside this document, they say it launched on a rocket called STS-75, which was launched in 1996, which is 6 years after the hoax has been posted. But it has since went around. Even after 1996, because it is obviously it happened after, people were like, oh shit, this was leaked documents. It's fooled a lot of people, and NASA's actually had to debunk it time and time again. And in fact, in March 2000, NASA's Director of Media Services called it a fairly well-known urban legend. So this has gone round.
Dude, they had to literally debunk the fucking sex and space allegations.
They had to come out, the spokesperson had to say, like, dude, this is not real. The media person, Director of Media Services. This is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we did not fucking space.
Yeah,
Didn't
it'd be
happen.
really funny if it was in like JFK was around. He's like, I regret to inform of you that we did not make waiters in space.
Yeah. That's actually why they killed him off. They were going to try that. He was going to try that, and then they fucking offed him.
They're like, no, dude.
Rough.
Some like angry intern was like, "No, I want to do it first," and he's like, "Nah."
No, me and my boyfriend are going up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Me and the woman I'm cheating on my wife with are going up there. Okay. You better
well, to be interestingly, this hoax has actually been cited as a question of like, why wasn't this question asked before? Because they've known about like they've obviously done breeding experiments in space with animals before. Yeah. Like, I don't know, frogs, for example, but, like, I did actually cite, like, a question of, like, why did NASA actually not think into this? If this is a future that they are looking forward to, if they're looking to go to fucking, I mean, Mars is, like, a 3 month travel. Yeah. I mean, there's a great website, that shows, like, the width of space, and I actually wanted to mention it, actually, later on, but I forgot the name of it, and I'll look it up now.
Did you not link
it? But it shows, like, no, I didn't link it. No, I just kind of wrote it down as part of like a note. But like I know the video. It was on. I can try and find it. It was a link in a video that I saw. But it basically shows like how big the universe is and like a scale model of like how you would be. It's literally. I mean, well, that's not like that's the message from it, but like it's like insane because I went through this. It's basically a website called If the Moon Were Only 1 Pixel. That's what it's called. And it's basically you scroll past and you see the scale of the sun, the scale of the sun, and you see how long it takes because it'll keep going at the speed of light, and it takes so fucking long to get to planets. It's actually insane. And you're thinking like it's gonna be like a few months until like people get to Mars and they land on there. So they're gonna have something to do in the meantime.
Keep it, by the way. Like, to get to Mars, even that fast is like or that slow is like a feat. Like, that's insane. Like, that's so quick from what you'd actually imagine how long it would probably take. Because, like, what is it? Isn't it like the moon is further from us, like, than one other planet? Like, it's really fucking farther from us than we think.
You can fit all planets between us and the moon. You can fit all planets in between us. You'll have room for all of us.
And it's insane that we got there in the 60s.
Exactly, actually, yeah. Dude, humans are awesome. We're actually awesome. Yeah. We should actually just kill everyone else in the galaxy.
I freaking love science.
In fairness, I think, speaking of, like, people trying before and, with like, the idea of sex and space, Pornhub actually attempted raising money in 2016. I saw that. They raised the money and got, like, 200,000, and obviously nothing happened. But they tried. It was people thought about it, and I guess to this
porn.
day it hasn't happened. Dude, when Kanye West said on that Lady Gaga song, "Alien sex."
In the night, I heard them talking. Have you seen that video? The aliens singing Heartless? You've not? Okay,
I haven't seen this.
That is, look it up. Look up aliens singing Heartless.
I forgot. Really doing this right now? Alien singing. I've seen the aliens singing just the two of us. That's a good clip.
No, this one's better, dude.
What? Okay, I'm gonna. Was it 16 years ago? What the fuck?
It's listen. It's it's making its way back on the internet, dude. It's coming back. It's underground.
It's just what the fuck?
What? Awesome.
It's just, wait. There's literally. I'm trying to. There's no alien filter. It's just the auto-tune.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. You think an alien can't sing as beautiful as Kanye?
It's just the song.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's literally like sing to the alien opening its mouth.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a vocal effect or something.
No, that's a real video of an alien they found while trying to have sex.
This is gonna look really weird to people listening because we were. Even to you because I'm literally listening to the video right now, looking through it. That's nuts, bro.
I'll put like a 5-second clip of it.
No, we'll get claimed. It's over. No. We'll claim. We'll lose.
That's what an alien would
see.
Like
that. Thanks for that rendition.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Let's move on from sex and space, and let's talk about more of a level-headed sort of topic. You talked about Mars earlier, and you talked about like how it's so far away from us. But there was actually a hoax in 2003, which is more of an email hoax. Again, weird to think, but people would be way more lax with their emails back then. I mentioned before, there have been massive viruses that have been spread through them. If you watch like one of the Disrupt documentaries, you'll see people talk about that before he like sold his channel or something. I don't know what happened with that guy.
That's a good topic
but like
itself, to be fair.
That's true, actually, yeah. But he made a bunch of documentaries. I remember watching them, and they were mostly about like how viruses would be spread through different kind of computers. There's this really interesting one where basically you would click on the kind of link for it, and then what the virus would do is email everyone else that same link, everyone you had in your contacts list, and so it spread around literally just like that, rather than just being like a small little thing that goes round, which is actually really interesting. But sometimes hoaxes are literally just misunderstandings, like in 2003, when there was an email going around that claimed Mars would look as large as the full moon, which is kind of true, but a real misunderstanding. Do you want to read this one? I read the sex document. You can read this one if you want.
So, which part is it? Is it the one with the red text?
Yes, the one with the red text.
You want me to read the red part?
Yes, Spilling. Okay. I do want you to read the red text, please.
La 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 la.
Get on with it.
Planet. Mister. The red planet is about to be a spectacular. Oh wait, I've got dyslexia.
A spectacular.
I've got dyslexia. I don't know why you got me reading this shit. The red planet is about to be spectacular. This month and next, Earth is catching up with Mars in an encounter that will culminate in the closest approach between the two planets in recorded history. The next time Mars may come this close in 2087. Due to the way Jupiter's gravity tugs on Mars and perturbs its orbit.
Jupiter tugs on Mars. Hello.
Oh, hello. Coming back to an oldie. Astronomers can only be certain that Mars has not come this close to Earth in the last 5,000 years. I don't know if that's true, but it may be as long as 60,000 years before it happens again. Okay, well, that's bullshit. The encounter will culminate on August 27th when Mars comes within 3,649,589 miles. 557. If anyone wants the coordinates to Mars, 55736,108 kilometers, of which Earth will be next to the moon, the brightest object in the night sky.
Wow.
It will attain a magnitude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. If it was real, it will attain a magnitude.
It's real.
Yeah. Okay. Of -2.9 and will appear 25.11 arc seconds wide. I don't know about this mumbo jumbo, dude. I failed maths. modest 75 power magnification, Mars will look as huge as the full moon to the naked eye. Mars will be seen...
That's crazy.
Yeah, easy to spot. At the beginning of August, it will rise in the east at 10 p.m. and reach its azimuth about 3 in the morning. Dude, the witch hour, dude. Fucking ghosts are gonna come out of Mars.
We gotta add like space ambient music in the back of this when we're like reading this out.
Like podcast where they have like the ambience. Yeah.
No, it's not like ambience, but like have like not like I don't know, like, but have like some like random like, you know, like one of those old like space sleep music that you have for like fucking I doubt you need to have that in the background.
Yeah.
As if we're soaring, like footage of us soaring through the fucking galaxy. And like footage of Mars and spinning and everything, and we've got the rover like going up and down and jumping.
Epic. We'll just put Wall-E in. We'll just put the soundtrack to Wall-E in. We'll do that. Yeah. By the end of August, when the 2 planets are closest, Mars will fucking kill the moon. What? Mars will rise at nightfall and reach its highest point in the sky at 12:30 a.m. That's pretty convenient. Why they write like that? That's pretty convenient to see something that no human being has seen in recorded history. So mark your calendar. This is like a Reddit post. Mark your calendar at the beginning of August to see Mars grow progressively brighter and brighter throughout the month. Share this with your children.
And grandchildren.
No one alive today will see this again. It's like they're going to shoot them after this.
It's so threatening. So... Spending, you were reading that, you were saying it's all bullshit. And I think the thing is, most of it is right.
Like the last 5,000 years thing, I didn't think that was true.
No, that's true. And it will come closer in 2287. It'll be 60,000 years until it was at that position, but it will come closer in 2287, which is a little misleading. So what is the misunderstanding here? Well, I think if you look at the sentence here, it says, at a modest 75 power magnification, Mars will look as large as a full moon to the naked eye, which obviously means looking through a telescope at a 75 power magnification, Mars will look this big and you'll be able to see it. But the thing is, most monitors back then were like really small and like square, you know, some of those old fucking monitors. And so line breaks were added. Yeah, literally. And so like line breaks would be added conveniently. So rather than saying that Mars would look as large as the full moon when at a 75 power magnification through a telescope, people just saw it and read like it would be as big as the full moon. It was just nuts.
Be big.
It'll be so big that you can see it like the full moon when you look up. You see literally like a red planet there. Obviously, that would not happen. It would cause like insane tidal gravitational effects. That would be crazy. It would like literally again. I mean that's. Yeah, I mean, I've no words. Terrifying is how to say it. Terrifying is how to say it. I was literally searching for words, couldn't find anything.
Yeah, it's like how people like watched Interstellar and was like, yeah, this could actually happen. When it's like, no, I don't think the Earth can bend, actually. If I was to think about it. Well, unless you're doing sex experiments in space.
Even like travel in space at like a high speed is not very likely. There's not much way you can go past the speed of light. And again, looking back to this if the moon were only 1 pixel website is really good because you can click a button at the bottom right and it will show you how fast you're going at the speed of light. You'll be going at the speed of light relative to how fast you're going on the screen, and it will show just how fucking long it takes for for Mars to get to Mars from Earth, for example.
Well, I'm
it would be
completely
crazy.
Now. And I've been scrolling for about a minute, and I'm like at 5
and you're scrolling.
Basically.
You're scrolling. That's faster than the fucking button. Click the button and see how fast you go. That's light. That's the speed of light.
Jesus, I'm faster than the speed of light, I think.
If you click on the way I choose this is you click on the mouse wheel, and then you basically just go right. Yeah, I was like, look at this. Even during this, it takes like a while.
Yeah, like I'm not going as fast as I thought I would.
Yeah, exactly. It's nuts.
People, I think like the thing I wanted to say earlier, but I forgot was people think space is so compact and has all of this shit around it. You know what I mean? Like they do in the movies where you can go anywhere, you can fucking zip around. And I know that's like based in fiction, but people do kind of think that. right? Like, in a way, they can't comprehend how fucking massive space is. But the reality of it is space is just boring. I would get bored living in space, I feel.
It's interesting for us looking down because it's the unknown and you kind of see all these stars in the sky like, holy shit, we can literally just go everywhere. We've just been held back. But in reality, there's a lot of space to go off of. Like, the planets are like a guiding line.
For us to, like, and like, I don't think it's going to be like, we'll be able to live in space within 100 years. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think, like, if we wanted to live like how these people like Elon say, I think it's going to take a lot longer than that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is not going to take within how many years Elon Musk said it would to terraform and live on Mars. No, you cannot terraform an entire fucking planet in like 100 years, or how long he said. You cannot do that. The resources,
absolutely.
The shipments. Like, does he think that we're going to get like faster than light fucking like ships?
Elevators.
Because if then let's just go to a planet where it already has it, right? You know?
Yeah, literally. I mean,
we're just like two retards talking about it. Like, we're not astrophysicists.
We're not scientists.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: we are not. I don't have any PhDs, no DHPs, none of that stuff. All right.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that. I'm just a guy making videos on the internet.
Yeah,
yapping.
We just talk about like pedophiles and CP and stuff. Like,
we just talk about pedos. We're the pedo physicists. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It reminds me of that. You reminded me of that. You seen the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
One of my favorite films.
Space is big, really big. You just won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. I mean, you may just think it's a long way down the road to the chemist, but that's just peanuts to space.
Well, that's what people do think. That's a very good book as well. That's one of my top 10 books. I'm a reader.
I read books, by the way.
I was picking up a good book and getting involved.
I go to my local library, by the way,
and read a good book and sit down with a cup of Joe. No, but like that's one of my favorite books because like it talks about like the reality. It's also got like the funny sci-fi shit, but it does give like inquisitive stuff, being like how big space is at like kind of a kid's level of understanding, being like it's not a drive down to town, it's fucking like, or it's not to a flight to another country, If we think of, and this is going to be really idiot's way of saying it, if we're comparing like layman's to like a flight travel to like from where I live to like Australia, in reality that's like the length of like the fucking spaceship going just out of orbit, It's not like that much in comparison to like how much that is. And you think, 32-hour flight or how many hour flight it is to Australia is a long ass time. It's not if you're trying to get to the fucking moon. Like, it took a very long fucking time to get to the moon.
Well, how long was that? Like a few months?
It was a very long time.
I don't know.
You never think about that because they always portray it like it happened instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
When they would like, how long did it take to...
Yeah, I'm looking that up right now. I'll let you look that up.
We're
not very intelligent.
Apparently, it took about 3 days. How the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, 3 days, 3 hours,
in fairness,
49 minutes.
The moon might be more close, to be fair, than like any of the other
easier
planets,
to get to. That's why we wanted to, because it's the first one we can see. And then someone's gonna say, the sun's a star, you fucking idiot.
That's crazy. I guess let's get back down to Earth, because we've been going about the moon, space. Yeah, look at me go. Me go. More science. Yeah. So let's talk more about the science stuff, because I want to bring up this video, which I think is actually really interesting. Have you heard of the CERN rituals before?
No.
Now, do you know what CERN is, first of all?
No.
CERN is like the organization. They do like a lot of big science stuff. They have the biggest particle thing. I don't know if it's an accelerator in the world, but they have like it's called like the Hadron Collider, and they have it in Switzerland. They're basically a big science organization. You've heard of that? Yeah, you've heard of that. So they basically operate that, and yes, they've heard of that. they've heard of that. Obviously, they work there, but they operate that stuff and they do a bunch of other stuff there. There was a video, a found footage video in around 2016, which depicted like an occult ritual happening in CERN.
Really?
That's interesting. So, here's how the video goes. Basically, they're inside CERN. They're seeing these people in black clokes surrounding a statue.
Of this now. Jesus Christ, this is terrifying. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, literally. But you can see like they're seeing black cloaks surrounding a statue of the Hindu god Shiva and basically performing a human sacrifice. Now, I don't know if I can pull up a picture of Shiva. I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to see which one's the right one.
Wait,
oh no, he's the other one.
Actual human sacrifice at CERN, or like in.
Well,
like,
that's what the video. That's what the video depicts. The video depicts them performing a human sacrifice. And then the video ends with the video ends with the person crying and running away. Now, thankfully, official records have said this was a prank. A fake video.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, obviously, I mean, if it was an actual fucking sacrifice, I think we would have heard about it a lot more than the WebNav podcast.
Of course, but like the idea of it is like so. It's for some reason it's just really believable. Like I might just be an idiot, but it's really believable that like when I think of
you're loving those conspiracy
these
theories
things happening. Yeah, it's like for some reason like these occult things and like space just like matches for me for some reason. It's like, oh yeah, they would exist within each other.
Because you don't think that like you don't if you're like not like a religious person, you don't really you think like what are the explanations for God and the devil and all these miracles and stuff? And it has to be science. I'm sciencing out. That's why I'm doing it. It has to be space. I love the science. So you have to like go towards that, and that's kind of where you. So I understand the connection there. So the video was like depicting an occult ritual. It was around 2016. It was posted and circulated around like a bunch of places. It went to a few news articles. It was around on Facebook. CERN have said this was a prank from scientists, basically to make fun of the conspiracy theorists about CERN aiming to use the Hadron Collider to, I don't know, make a portal to hell, or summon the Antichrist, or destroy the universe, so they were making fun of it, and then CERN made an official statement saying they don't tolerate this kind of stuff, and they could give rise to misunderstandings. Now, we could believe you could believe this is like a real video and they swept it up. That could be entirely possible. My theory is that the scientists, like, got on the bevs and made it like a shitpost video. They got the Shiva. They got the like Shiva the deity statue from India as a kind of thanks. So I guess they had that and they were like, "Oi mate, look at this." You know, like, I got some black cloaks. Wouldn't this be so fucking funny?
If we got our nan's dressing gowns and started stabbing my wife.
They didn't realize. They were like, "Oh, Sharon, go fucking film up there and we'll see what happens." That'd be stuff.
Love, we're off to Hydron Collider to do a fucking ritual. I don't know why I'm putting like a Geordie accent on when they're living in.
It's in Switzerland.
Yeah, we are going down to the Hydron Collider. Okay, that's Japanese.
No.
I'm racist.
That was such a the way that transformed was hilarious. You know, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of there's a Doctor Who episode called Extremist. I'm bringing up Doctor Who again because I like the show.
No,
there's a Doctor Who episode. It's called Extremist, and they have a part where they're in CERN, and the people in there figure they're in a simulation, and they know they're in a simulation. They purposely blow up the entire fucking place. It's actually a really good episode. At least my opinion.
Cool. What came to me immediately was, I assume you know what Inside Number 9 is because we love that kind of thing. You know, with what's
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Either it was Inside Number 9 or another one. They, for Halloween, they staged a thing about like this one big episode, and like the big twist, because they always have twists with the episodes, right? It was all done live. But the actual twist was it wasn't live. It was a hoax, and they had set up for I think weeks to like about a couple months of them filming in the Emmerdale or like the EastEnders set. Yeah, we all know what that is, right? And there's apparently like talks of it. Oh, it's being haunted. People who've gone to like the place have said, oh, they see a woman walking around and like a spirit. And they staged this entire thing. They hired a fucking priest who I don't think had any knowledge of it to go and like expel the demon and like do all this shit and hire like sermons and stuff like that. And you know, people thought it was real. Like they were like, "Oh fuck!" So
they called it. Yeah, they probably called, didn't they?
Yeah, and they people were shitting themselves, and they were like, and this is the coolest part of it for me is, they were like, "Oh, we're really sorry. We're gonna do one of the popular episodes of Inside Number 9, which was one of the first episodes in the series. But the twist is they completely reshot it and put a ghost in there.
Oh my
and
god!
It was fucking awesome. One of the best fucking TV like plot twists of all time.
Well, you spoiled it for everyone. Spoiler alert, guys! But that sounds insane.
Old ass fucking episode, but it's amazing. Even if you know the plot twist, it was amazing. And technically, they were right because this all happened live.
Mad.
Yeah.
Wait, it was all like actual, like holy shit.
It was all live. So they weren't lying by we're doing a live episode because there are parts in it. Because a part of it is like the ghost hacks the network and stuff like that, or gets in the network and stuff like that. And it's CCTV footage of the creators, I forgot their names, watching live of
mad,
and, like doing an entire staged bit, and it's fucking incredible. Seriously, one of the best like in a like TV show hoax of best. I think it's the best in my personal opinion. And it's amazing. So that's what it reminded me of. That was a pretty big side tangent, but it reminded me of that a lot.
TV recommendations from WebNav. Go do your homework. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Go watch Inside
I don't know how I can follow that up. That's actually a crazy. I might have to watch that at some point.
Oh, it's so good. I watch it like once every year just because of how much like, it gives me goosebumps. It's like one of the because I don't like scary films or anything like that. They just like it's not even that I get scared. I just get bored. I'm like okay.
Yeah.
But that one had me on edge. That one was like playing like Outlast for the first time for me. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts.
But either way, back to space.
Crazy. Oh my god. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna follow that up with like weed in space experiments. I don't know how I'm gonna have to follow that up because that was such a good thing.
You guys like doing drugs? They did weed in space.
Okay. Well, they didn't do weed in space, did they? I think.
What?
I think the thing is that like, obviously, I think this is gonna happen as well. I think I would associate like weed more with the internet now, because I think early internet users would just be like stoners. Yeah, I feel like that would happen.
It's
I don't
either
know.
that and it's become like the meme drug. You know. Like,
yeah, actually, that's true.
Joint in your mouth.
Dude, MLG weed. That's fucking smoke. I smoke weed every day. Yeah.
Was it Pyrus Nichols' old avatar with Mordecai with a fucking dude in his mouth?
Dang.
You remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah.
That was old head Pyro law.
That was great. Before he was a. Never mind.
Weed
experiments. Before weed experiment. I didn't say that. Don't sue me. I didn't say that. Weed experiments. Also, I guess it's like, I think culturally, I think there was a lot of point where it's like weed is also like the bad drug. People are like, oh my, speaking of marijuana, that's fucking awful. And people have now realized over time that like weed isn't like weed is not the worst one out there. Now weed, I still believe that weed will like rot your brain. I've seen it happen with my good buddy Boblax, of course.
I've seen, I mean, we know a guy who's addicted to weed and it fucked his life.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's told stories being like, out of all the drugs I've done, weed was the worst. Because it's so...
Yeah.
Because, like, if your mum caught you smoking weed, she'd be a bit pressed, but she wouldn't be like... She wouldn't fucking smack the shit out of you. Like, compared to, like, coke or heroin or something, you know? It's like, everyone's done it once in their life. I mean, I've done it a lot of times because I'm a freaking epic stoner. And I fucking know how to blaze it, okay?
Allegedly. British police, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
keeping your safe spin link.
Yeah. It's an alleged troll.
It's an alleged troll.
But yeah, continue.
Wow. Sorry. But yeah, there's actually been a ton of like weed-related hoaxes about like, oh, they did weed in space, and apparently, I guess that's meant to rile people up and be like, holy shit, they were doing weed. Yeah. All these Facebook boomers. The issue is that like
real.
The issue is that like none of these are like particularly that interesting on their own. For example, like NASA weed experiments. Apparently, from like around 2016 to 2018, there was hoaxes on Facebook where people were saying like NASA was paying $18,000 to volunteers where they would like smoke weed as part of bed rest experiments. Now, bed rest experiments are basically real. They're like simulating the effects of weightlessness on the human body. They'll move the bed around and see how you rest in different places.
Yeah.
But like the weed part of it is obviously fake, and even Facebook had to come out and refute it and be like, "Hey, this is not fucking real, guys."
Yeah, because Mark Zuckerberg's an alien and he knows what's up.
He needs to cover his tracks.
Yeah.
There was a planet of weed rumor. Apparently, a habitable planet covered with marijuana. That's my fucking home. That's my destination. That's my hood.
To sender, beam me up, please, just fucking please.
Basically, there's a planet called Planet X637Z-43. So they've given a.
It'd be really funny if it was called like Planet GANG.
Planet 420.
Planet 420.
Planet Ganj. That's an awesome one. Yeah. I actually feel like the person who spread this rumor has been like really careful not to put that in. 43 seems really specific. It's just off 42. Yeah. That seems really specific to me. Basically, the rumor was that like this was in 2015. There was a habitable planet covered in marijuana that NASA discovered. The truth is that like I think you could see this as soon as it said habitable. Habitable covered with marijuana. That's not. I don't believe that. Yeah, already also, without even knowing.
These people been like, I could smoke for days. It'd all be dried up. It'd be dead weed.
Yeah, you'd smoke up the planet.
Yeah, you'd be
biggest booth in the galaxy.
Aliens rolled worst galaxy blunt ass to leave solar system.
But yeah, that one was fake. Snopes came in, had to discredit that one. Actually posted by a fake news site that posted clickbait stories.
The funniest part of that was the edited image.
Well, oh my god, yeah.
The guy
with the weed on the ISS. So this is another image of basically an astronaut holding a bag of weed as part of an experiment on the ISS. Yeah, on 2018. This is actually a really good edit. I don't know if you can show it on screen. It's a really good edit of him like it was originally him like holding an Easter egg bag to celebrate Easter, I guess, and it turned into a fucking bag of weed. This is genuinely amazing. This is genuinely an amazing edit. I'm stunned by this.
I don't think.
I guess it's good because it's low quality, so it'll disguise all the blemishes and stuff. Yeah. But even then, that is such a good edit.
I'll put it in, but
I would be fool. I would have. Now you can show weed on YouTube. We talked about sex. We talked about sex for like half this episode. We talked about sex in space for half this episode. We can put in weed at this point.
I hope.
We're fine to put in weed. Hell yeah, dude.
In space?
Dude, this is awesome. In space?
It was awesome.
And finally, I guess, this wasn't meant to be a final one, but they also talked about THC in meteorite fragments. THC is part of weed, obviously.
Yeah, it's a strain.
Reported to be in the rocks, which is obviously not fake and true. obviously, this is awesome and real. I mean, honestly, I actually think that's the most like. I think that's the most likely because like that THC is is after all like a thing that is it's like a mineral.
Thing, right?
Not a mineral. It's not a mineral, but it's like a natural. Yeah, it's like a naturally occurring thing. I mean that's how it was discovered. Like it's a thing that you can find. It's not like there's a planet of weed and it's full of all this stuff. Like, no. So I feel like that's the most real. But again, wasn't convincing enough. Fake and not true. Well, I'm glad we have cleared up some misconceptions today. You can't have sex in space until they look into it further. Mars isn't coming really close, so you can't boof it up. There's not a planet of weed. And people don't smoke weed on the ISS, and CERN probably don't sacrifice people to the Indian god Shiva.
Yeah, cut that out, dude. At least do it to like a cool one, like the Eye of Ra.
The Eye of Ra.
Yeah. That would be fucking... Or like a John Pork one.
John, because you imagine they replace them with John... Replace that image you sent me with John Pork. Sacrifice into the great god John Pork. That's awesome.
So the Hydron Collider works properly.
Fuck
John Pork, please save me.
John Pork, please. It's like that video. That please, video of the video of the video of that guy with Donald Trump. Please save us. John Pork. John Pork, please save us. John Pork,
please bless us.
John Pork, please bless us.
John Pork, if you can hear me, please. I don't know why I'm doing like Obama sound like voice for it. John Pork, if you can hear me, please make the Hadron Collider work at optimal speed.
And smoke weed in space.
Let's hit John Pork, if you can hear me. Let me fuck it up in space. Thanks, Kush.
I love how we went from like, remember the last ending?
I think the only person...
Remember the ending of the last episode, which was like, well, this account calls like a suicide on Twitter. Look at the ending of this one.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, John Pork needs to smoke weed and die in space and run the Hadron Collider.
John Pork, please. Light one up for
John
me.
Pork is calling, bro. John Pork is calling.
John Pork is calling on like the... you know, like the head computer from 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's John Pork asking if you want to hand the joint over.
End this fucking podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for fucking listening. Piss off.
Thank you guys. Light one up for us.
Yeah. Think of us when you're lining one up. Think of Planet fucking X637Z.
Think of Mars.
Think of John Pork.
Think of new possession. Think of new positions for space pussy, guys.
And think of John Pork. See ya.
Yeah.
Oh,